on how we pursue and go deeper into the discussion on entrepreneurship, entrepreneurial mindset, technology entrepreneurs, and technology entrepreneurship, and all of the things we discussed yesterday. Whether this is something that is relevant for us, whether grandma and grandpa can be equally good entrepreneurs as our, the little, 9 or 10-year-old sister or daughter of mine, let's say, and where we all stand on that spectrum. Is it a question of that we are actually only born with it, or is it something that we can develop in ourselves, and how much of it is really a point of competence and attitude? Okay? So, applause.
We still need to introduce the dictionary.
Yeah, I'll give them.
Okay, to Lorenzo and Andrea to lead.
So, I think actually most of you were actually here last time we had a preparation, but just to recap, I'll give you a brief primer about the scenario. I think, Andrea, you can correct me if I go off track or anything. And then we leave it to the groups and we actually let things go. So the scenario is the following. We are at the middle of 2018, okay, so like 7-8 months from now. And we're at the end of the term of the Bulgarian presidency of the EU. And the Bulgarian president, which is by the way here with us today, decided that a last second revision for the framework program of the next 7 years, starting from 2020, it needs to be done. And the revision is we need to have a special focus on digitalization and a special focus on how digital transformation is affecting us. For this reason, they decided to appoint a special advisor to the president who is going to advise him on how to set up the big vision for the framework program, which in the end will mean that is the money that goes into research, that goes into all the concrete things that the EU is actually able to carry out. So, of course, one of the candidates was one of the most prominent tech figures, which is Bill Gates. And the other would have been Steve Jobs because of logic, but of course we all know he's dead, except that he isn't, because he actually has just been retired. He lives somewhere in the Bermuda Triangle. He's still there, but the Bulgarian Secret Service has found him and brought him back here. So the question now is, who should become the special advisor to the president to design this framework program? Should it be Steve Jobs, right, or Bill Gates? This is a question of this time. Did I miss anything?
No.
Okay, one thing which is fundamental for this class. I ask you to please all shut down your laptops, because you're expected to be attending and be listening. So we just make this kind of request. Unless you have something which is like totally urgent, we ask you to keep your computer shut down, because I think we all think there's no need for them to. Sorry?
Even if we use them to take notes?
Notes are usually taken by the note keepers, so we think they're not fundamental.
I'm not allowed to take my own?
It's not that you're not allowed, but I think that having a computer in front of you is in some way a form of distraction. And we have seen that once you see one computer popping up, you see many computers popping up. And I don't think the quality of the notes that the note keepers are expected to deliver.
It's just I'm usually...
No, it's fine. I mean, I was one myself that usually does this thing. But we have seen that in this kind of class where you're expected to engage a bit more, having one less element of distraction usually helps. It's nothing personal on this, but just out of practicality, okay? Good. So, as we said last time, the two groups will have 15 minutes each to present their case. We have a timer, but we won't be cutting you. We just give you 5 minutes. We give you 10, 5,
But
3.
it was 10 minutes, not 15?
It was 10?
Yes.
Okay, 10 minutes. Sorry, my bad. So 10 minutes each.
Okay.
We'll give you 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, and then we give you time, and you have to wrap up. We don't make an alarm bell sound for the.
I will start an alarm.
We start an alarm. Okay, that's good. I like it. Okay. So good luck.
Hear me? Yeah. So we are here today to talk to you why it's the characteristic a good advisor should have, and we found someone we would like to talk to you. The first one is that he should be a good communicator because he has to express his idea in a clear, convincing, and concise way. Because he has to convince not only the president, but maybe also people who are not experts in that field. And this video I would like to show you is a recap of what I said.
Today, we're introducing 3 revolutionary products of this class. 3 things: a widescreen iPod with touch controls, a revolutionary mobile phone, and a breakthrough internet communications device. An iPod, a phone, and an internet communicator. An iPod, a phone. Are you getting it? These are not 3 separate devices. This is one device.
So that man, that we don't know who he is, he talked to the public in a very funny way. He entertained, and it also expressed his ideas. The next things that we think that a good advisor should have is that he should be an out-of-the-box thinker. He should not be driven by the public opinion only, but he should also consider other way. He should go against the flow. Again, we have a video to explain better what I mean.
And what happens if you think of a great idea 6 months from now? You can't run around and add a button to these things, they're already shipped. So what do? It doesn't work because the buttons and the controls can't change. They can't change for each application, and they can't change down the road if you think of another great idea you want to add to this product. Well, how do you solve this? It turns out we have solved it. We solved it in computers 20 years ago. We solved it with a bitmap screen that could display anything we want, put any user interface up, and a pointing device. We solved it with the mouse, right? We solved this problem. So how are we going to take this to a mobile device? Well, what we're going to do is get rid of all these buttons and just make a giant screen. A giant screen.
So he break the rules. He didn't follow what other people, what other company thought, and came up with an original idea. The other skills that a good advisor should have is that he should have a wide vision. His competence should cross way to different fields. Should have a global view of the product of the company he is advisoring. Can I say that? So the different fields should be from the planning phase and the designing one, and also the marketing. The other, finally, we think that it should be empathetic. And why empathetic? It was sound strange, but we found that it should be capable of understanding the needs of the people that the population doesn't know to have. In doing so, it can find the best idea to innovate, to create a new product to solve that problem. Again, we have a video to explain that.
Now, how are we going to communicate this? We don't want to carry around a mouse, right? So what are we going to do? Oh, a stylus, right? We're going to use a stylus. No. Who wants a stylus? You have to get them and put them away and you lose them. Yuck. Nobody wants a stylus. So let's not use a stylus. We're going to use the best pointing device in the world. We're going to use a pointing device that we're all born with. We're born with 10 of them. We're going to use our fingers.
So the next one is you should be informed about technology. You should know the state of the art about that field. So we can use technology, can adapt it to new needs. You can find a new way to adapt or use technology instead of wasting time creating a new one. Again, we have a short video.
Now, software on mobile phones is like baby software. It's not so powerful. And today, we're going to show you a software breakthrough. Software that's at least 5 years ahead of what's on any other phone. Now, how do we do this? Well, we start with a strong foundation. iPhone runs OS X. Why would we want to run such a sophisticated operating system on a mobile device? Well, because it's got everything we need.
So, we didn't only define what a good advisor should be, but we also find out people that embody all that characteristic, and that people is Steve Jobs. We like to speak a few words about his life to understand better what we are talking about. So he was born in San Francisco in 1953. He was adopted by a Lutheran family. In 1972, he graduated at Olmsted at Cupertino, and when he enrolled in the Reed College in Portland. But after only a semester, he dropped out, so not to waste the family funds. He kept attending some courses, for example, calligraphy one that he became have a great impact then in his future. He also founded a lot of companies, Apple, with this product, Apple I and Apple II, bigger innovation, Apple Lisa, and Macintosh, in which he create the basic of new graphical computer interfaces. He found Next Computer, and he also is the founder of Pixar, the first film totally computer animated company. He's a pervasive innovator. He, as we said, has a wide vision, bold and right decision about the future, and one of his few of his many innovations are, for example, iPod, iPhone, iPad, Mac, and so on. So the last one is a quote from him, and
Hi everyone, and now it's time for Bill Gates. Okay, just a technical problem. Okay. So why Bill Gates should be the new advisor for the EU Parliament? So let's start talking about governance, in particular fund research that should provide resources to solve the big problems. In particular, we focus on innovation that is a crucial component that improves life for everyone. Bill Gates said that innovation is the real driver of progress. So the engine that innovation is the engine for the progress. But what makes a good politician? We are talking about politics. As Winston Churchill said, a good politician is someone who finds a good advisor. So someone who, with suggestions, help the politician to make rules. And so, in this way, the advisor becomes more important than politician himself. So, but what are the main qualities for the advisor in the EU in the EU Parliament for successfully fulfill the program? First one, right-mindedness. This means integrity in the sense that the advisor is in competition with himself to improve himself and the entire population of the country. In particular, we divide right-mindedness in other points. The first one is financial integrity. Bill and Melinda Gates founded a foundation, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, that help people with a disease like malaria and AIDS. Then Bill Gates realized that students like us are really, really important. In fact, Bill Gates started a program with the Cambridge University to give to students scholarships. Take care about Africa with the Alliance of Green Revolution to improve the economy of the state, of the country. And then, at the end, he created a platform called the Giving Pledge that, if you are rich, you can donate to poor people all over the world. Second point is family guy. In what sense? So, according to the Forbes magazine, Bill Gates is the richest person in the world, with 85 billions of dollars. But nonetheless, this not influence the family aspect of his life. In fact, Bill Gates decided to give money to his children, but let them the opportunity to decide them future. Change the world, go home. This is the motto of the Microsoft company, and Bill Gates used this expression to suggest the employee that it is very, very important to be creative and stay determined. Innovative thinking is the second point that we are looking for today, and Bill Gates founded the first software industry in the world. He sublimed the hardware aspect, relating it to the software. Third point, determination. We talked previously about determination, but in what sense? Determination means don't give up. Currently, we deal with failures, but we have to be positive thinker. Competence. As always, an advisor, a politician has to be competent and so have some skills, some important skills. As we know, Bill Gates is a nerd, and this is an important skill as well. But not only, he is a visionary, a successful leader, an excellent coder, and at the end, practical. So practical in what sense? Time is money. And visionary, because he founded the first software industry in the world, and a successful leader, as we know, because the Microsoft company. A computer on every desk and in every home running Microsoft software. This was the dream of Bill Gates. He is ambitious. He talked with his teacher at the university, and he told them that at the age of 30 years old he would have become millionaire. He became millionaire at the age of 31 years old, so he realized his dream, and just a year after he became billionaire. So we are at the end of this presentation. This is the last slide, and I would like to decide and so think with you why Bill Gates is the right choice for our future. Time magazine named Bill Gates one of the top 100 persons who must influence the world in the 20th century. Why? First, growing and learning. Second, having vision. And the last point, caring about people. So, Bill Gates is the right advisor for the EU Parliament for these 3 points. Thank you.
There you can stand up. I think it might be better if you just get a bit closer with the chairs because you look like you're very far away. Of course, if you have a question from the audience, from the virtual minds, from anybody, you raise your hands. At some point, either then you realize that somebody wants to ask a question, or me or there, or Milena will call somebody and say no question. So if from the audience you have any questions, any pointers, go for it. Raise your hands. We call them and we okay.
How giving money to my children makes me a good advisor?
In a sense, I think that previously was described in the wrong way, since Bill Gates treated his children in a manner that, in order to educate them, so he didn't negate them the money, but he made them make effort to gain them.
Okay, but
Bill Gates said that all his money, his billions, will go to charity, and his children will receive only money for education, and then they will work on their own and not just receive all the money of Bill Gates. In that sense. So he will he thinks about the education of his family, and also he think about other people. He will donate all his money away out from his family. That's
I
important.
mean, he is an educator, so it's not merely a businessman that aims to gain as much money as he wants. So, since we're not talking about a company, we're talking about advising the European Parliament. So it's not everything about the money someone can make, but how good the investments are. Since the goal won't be to gain as much money as possible, since education, research have very high costs, and we can't expect short-term gain. We must invest in the future, in the long term, and in collaboration. So
you can be a good advisor just if you have billions.
No, nobody said that.
No, because you said that I don't get the point that having so much money and donate to people, okay, makes him a rich person, okay. But how he elevated to a great advisor? Because an advisor is something that should be bring in innovation, bring something new. Okay,
Yeah.
having money, everyone. If you have 90 billions of dollars, you can donate it, but some millions so easily, like 50 cents to the poor man that he's working there. So it's not make the difference.
Yeah.
Does not make the difference.
It's just something more, because it's not a random billionaire. He founded Microsoft. He grew a company that is now one of the most important on the planet, and also even after that, with the money, he shows that he cares about people, and politics is about people, it's not about the money.
But it's not okay.
It's just a plus, let's say that.
He didn't just donated money, he also leaded projects. He dedicates his time to the foundation, so he doesn't just throw out money to people. He also works on projects that can really help someone, that can lead, that can rise the innovation. So that are example. He is an able person to make project and to lead them in order to innovate in large scale.
But investing so much time in doing good things like charity, or simply doing research in how to give his money away, doesn't it mean that he would have less time to be a good advisor?
That the advisor is doing. He decide where to put money and where this money can be useful.
Yes, but not his money and his charity. If he has so much things to do from himself with his business, how can he have the time needed to be a good advisor?
Because all this time he makes decisions. He learn something, so he isn't doing nothing. He is acquiring skills for skills useful in advising politicians and innovation.
And also the numerous charity foundation and projects that he launched. It isn't him himself that organizes everything and everything is done. So he has a lot of collaborators, and he is entitled of the idea of this project, but it's not actually taking care personally of everything of every project. So when he will be the advisor, he will concentrate and focus on being the advisor. He will not be the advisor that takes the money for innovation and give it to the third world countries.
Sorry, we had a question from the audience. Can we just get that?
I think that they have a point, because in their presentation, they show us that he introduced many breakthroughs like we all have a smartphone. The iPhone was the first one. And in your presentation, you presented Bill Gates as a moral person from a moral point of view. And to me, this is kind of orthogonal with respect to being able to decide a ranking of some technological stuff.
Can I add one thing? When we speak about innovation, we actually don't speak only about computer technology. And when you spoke about Steve Jobs, you only spoke about computer technology. But what about else? What about health and all the other research? Did we do anything else?
I think that
I would like to answer. I can answer to you. Okay. So,
Sorry, since you spoke last, can we get them to speak up as well a bit?
you told me that.
You got a question, can we get them first?
Okay.
Because I think there was a...
No, I would like to answer the questions that Anna made. And we have talked about the technology, the computer innovation, just because we had 10 minutes. Because if we had more time, we have speak a lot about something like, we would have spent lots of time speaking about Pixar.
But it's still computer technology. I mean, like, it's not even...
It's entertainment.
It's entertainment, and it's
It's
not
not innovation.
entertainment.
It's
You're
not
focusing
innovation.
on
It's
product.
technology only in the mean.
And
It's
also,
entertainment. It's
But something more practical. Like, I
You're
don't know.
focusing on products instead of
Okay, but the road that you will cover is an innovation of technology, not innovation
No,
of
it's
everything,
innovation in
okay?
a
You can't
global
use
sense.
innovation
in summary, at
on...
the beginning of the lecture, he said that the focus was on digitalization. So it's not about charity.
But it's about innovation.
Digitalization. So, in my opinion, they get the point.
Yeah, but
You have no.
Okay, so
yeah.
Can I answer?
yes.
okay. I would like to thank you, our adversaries, Okay, probably you are right. We focus on charity, we focus on be ethical, but okay, this is an extreme. So they talk only about products. I realized after their presentation that iPhone is a great product. So it isn't the sense of this presentation. We are talking about a good politician, a good advisor. Sorry, let me continue. We are talking about a good advisor, a good politician, not an entrepreneur.
It's not a politician.
An advisor in the EU Parliament.
His point was to help to
It doesn't have to be
define
an
some
entrepreneur.
priorities
And
in
so,
the digital point of view.
Okay, we
focusing
have-
on product or
Here
products.
is another
It's wrong.
another comment.
Uh, I would like to say something. The aim of the battle is choosing the advisor for technological thing for the European president, right? So we don't care about the humanity or something like that. We appreciate Bill Gates made different things to serve the humanity in Africa or in Middle East or something like that. We appreciate, and we do appreciate that. But we are facing, or we are going to select innovation person in IT things. So let me say something. Please, this word is mean. Wait a second. Let me say something. Bill Gates, according to my vision, is a follower, not an innovator in everything, because as you know, Steve Jobs made an iPhone, touch screens, many visible things, many benefits that made the life very easy to us. So, who started with these kind of things? I do believe that Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, but Bill Gates was a follower. Okay, so I think the kind of IT innovation goes through to Steve Jobs instead of Bill Gates.
Okay.
The point of all this is giving advice on how to spend the money. Okay, so what I got from your presentation is that if you give $1 billion to Steve Jobs, okay, he will make a great product, he can make an innovative product, but it's not about make products, it's about to invest money. And they showed that Bill Gates knows how to invest his own money, so I can assume that he knows how to invest money in general.
Okay.
So yeah.
They showed how he can donate his money, not how he can invest.
Actually, if you made a foundation, it's an investment.
So you make publicity just to make it, just a showman. It's not made for charity, just because okay, I'm Bill Gates, I own Microsoft, so I want to.
Hey, for yourself.
Yeah, but the point of the money is using.
No, they want to answer on the.
Yeah. Okay.
When Jobs was Apple was almost failing. What was almost going bankrupt, and he brought the company back. He knew how to invest money.
Okay, but first that wasn't in the presentation, so I didn't know that. But
Yes, we have.
Can we make a point?
Yeah.
Yes, I want to say something about your point. You say that Steve Jobs created innovation or something like this. I'm sure about this, but now every people has Microsoft Windows on his computer. So you say, okay, iPhone, iPod, what you know, okay. But the innovation is that every person can have a computer, not a Mac, a computer with Windows inside, not a computer. Because I have no Mac, because I have no money to pay 1,000 euro to pay Apple. I have a computer with Windows because Bill Gates creates something that every person can have. So he create application like Office, he create developer tools, he create a lot of things that innovate the world in software development, I think.
Yes. Yes, but how many buttons does your mobile phone has?
How many?
How many buttons has your mobile phone has?
I protest out of scope because we decided not to go in details about the product.
It's not about the product, it's an idea. It's a wide screen with no buttons, no keyboard.
Even Microsoft phone uses this innovation.
There are more innovation of Steve Jobs in Microsoft product than Bill Gates innovation.
Okay, he needs to say something because he's been raising his hand for a long time.
Yeah. Now, I wanted to link the time he spends on foundations. They told us that he spends a lot of time on foundations, but actually he's able to fund something, and the foundations, they go forward by themselves. So it has a very great ability to create something and make something that it's able to go forward. And he actually spends time, it's true, but he doesn't spend most of his time on charity or on foundations. He's also interested in different things like, I don't know, new sources of energy, and he also interested in all kinds of things that could improve the life of everyone. So it's not the time spent on the foundations. Actually, we wanted to give you the idea that he's able to found something and bring something from ground to up that can go forward by themselves, doing better things, you know. So yeah, that's the point.
Okay, we have 3 comments here, I think.
What I think it's worth mentioning is that when a person is running a company, his main goal is to earn more money. So if you consider these things that charity, we just appreciate it, but it's not worth mentioning, this is wrong, because if you give $1 billion to Bill Gates, he would probably make a product which costs a lot, and only a few kind of people, a few part of the society can afford it. But if you give money to Steve Jobs, but if you give the money to Bill Gates, he would take care about students. Students.
Applause, please.
So if if you say, okay, it's good, but we just appreciate it, I think it's not fair.
Okay. I think that I think that a technological advisor needs a good eye for opportunity, and in my opinion, their presentation really told me that Steve Jobs was had a keen eye on opportunity, and it was really he was the one making breakthroughs. While I agree with him when he says that Microsoft and Bill Gates is a follower. So I think we should establish if Bill Gates is as good as breakthroughs and innovation as Steve Jobs, or if he's just a follower.
Okay. I would like to say something.
I have a point. I think that innovation is something that will change everyone's lives. We have smartphones, we have PC, we have laptops, but it's innovation and it's changing lives because everyone can have them. If only 10% of people can access these new technologies, this doesn't create new opportunities for everyone. And can I finish? And I think that this is a key point. Even the small elite that Steve Jobs wants to promote can't go on without a wide-scale innovation, because we can say big steps in progress were made by single companies. But single companies need great minds behind that, and great minds comes with opportunities for everyone. And great minds need the tools to develop their skills and progress themselves. So if we give everyone the opportunity to get some skill set relevant, we can make the progress global and make it affordable to everyone.
Okay, I want to respond to his observation. And both Steve Jobs and Bill Gates had some thoughts about affordability, but in different ways. Bill Gates was more focused on the price, on getting everyone to have something. Instead, Steve Jobs wanted to create products or things that everyone could be able to use. Product that didn't need technical abilities. And I think this is also an important thing to consider, since this could be a very widespread and pervasive project that doesn't come from this investment. And the people that use it also need to
We can hear you.
all be able to use it.
Well, can you speak loud? Maybe loud.
Affordability in the ease of use sense is also important, I think. And
Only few part of the society can buy Microsoft products. You know,
Okay, but we are focusing on Europe, not for the world. Europe has
even
the
in Europe, even in Europe.
I think that if I can't afford a product, even if it's easy to use, it doesn't lead nothing. And the point is, it's easy to use, okay, but why over 85% of desktop PC have Windows, and why? And I can make the comparison also with open source operative systems. There are a lot of open source operative systems with the GUI, and still the vast majority uses Windows. This is why.
They basically everyone uses Linux distributions.
Sorry.
How
many people in this class are using Windows or Mac or something else?
No, Windows. That's okay.
How much of you are using Windows right now?
Please
put your hands up. Mine is not
about companies for the persons.
Or at least started with Windows, you know.
I still needed to conclude my observation.
My point was about production, not personal
versatile
desktop.
I mean, wait. But if everyone can use a Windows PC,
the point is the idea behind it came from Steve Jobs, not Bill Gates. Bill Gates just took the idea and made it cheaper to buy.
No, actually, they
I
both
think
go
this
from
is-
zero to
your
zero.
idea is not that good.
Yes.
If you can't apply and make your idea
Well, it
available
depends.
for everyone,
I think
it's
everyone
like not
agrees that
applying it.
But let them answer
an iPhone
this.
is better than a Windows phone. It's like buying a T-shirt for 100 euros on 10 euros.
But
The one from 10 euros, maybe
wait.
the day after it's gone. The other one maybe
Let
not.
Steve Jobs answer about this point.
Concluding my point, so ease of use.
Yes, okay. You say.
Could also have the fact that if it's a new technology, better to first start with fewer.
Can you speak up a little bit, because in the back I don't hear when I'm there.
If you need the microphone, there is the microphone.
So Steve Jobs' focus was on ease of use, which unfortunately could bring up prices, but it could also be a good thing, because if it's a new technology, that means that it's easier to experiment in more limited distribution, and also with a focus on stability and security could mean that it can be successful and not fail, even being a new technology. Tying in with what you say, that server side almost nobody uses Windows, which needs
Nobody uses Mac.
no one uses Windows has many bugs, it's less stable than Mac, and also at a certain point, you guys even say that nobody's
Okay.
interested in
We got
using it.
So there needs. He wanted to respond.
No, maybe you the response.
Never mind. What we will do is we stop at the moment for a break, and before that I wanted to give the opportunity to Leslie, who was here with us, just to say a couple of words in her short observation. And then we will have a 10-minute break, and we will continue. So we didn't. One point to make, to try. It's the first battle, but to try to keep the focus on the scenario. I'm not saying you're not doing this, but when you make your arguments, try to keep in mind how what you are giving as a justification or as argumentation to your point first supports the scenario. It could be even using, and I will give you a tip here, you could still demonstrate it through the products, but don't use the products per se only as your argumentation. Okay? Did you get it? So to try to go back in sustaining the point about the scenario. So keep in mind that we are talking here about we would like to choose a person who will lead the process of innovation and research for Europe. And how is all of this relevant then to see why you are doing this, but sometimes you lose the focus and you get into the other discussion, okay? Just a point.
Yeah, obviously I sat in your class yesterday and I've seen your first approach today. The first thing I would like to do is to congratulate all those students yesterday who found their voice and started to participate. And I hope you noticed that as more people joined in, the whole atmosphere of what was going on in the class changed. And if you're going to be an entrepreneur, and you're going to change something, whether that's to create a vision or solve a problem or save something worth saving, that ability to kind of bring other people with you and create something that is not just about you as a figurehead is maybe one of the unsung aspects of enterprise and entrepreneurship. So there's about 60, 70, maybe even 80% of the class that I have to say very well done, and it was really pleasing to see the speed at which you kind of changed from a bit of sitting here and it's another university class to something that you're engaging with. So well done, everyone. Second comment, and it's just about what I've observed today. I'm kind of curious because what I got from the Steve Jobs presentation was a very clear message in the presentation about the fact that the man could communicate clearly, could bring people with him, and was seeing and doing things that others people weren't. And I got a very different profile over on this side of the room. On this side of the room I got basically, this is a good man with good values. And if you were to continue this particular debate, I'd quite like to see what happened when the two sides started to pick up on those themes. And, you know, see how, not just defending their candidate, but almost starting to present the candidate they presented alongside the characteristics, which were the strengths on the other side. So I guess I would like to see you start to tell me how Bill Gates is a great communicator, and maybe on this side a little bit more about where his personal values were in terms of his, you know, the legacy he left or the impact he would have on education. Because I would like to see it more rounded rather than two sides where we're a bit stuck in, I've made a case and now I'm defending the case, as opposed to I'm pivoting. This is a term you will find as Milena and the team here continues to work with you. Pivoting, moving on, adapting, embracing what's come at them, and have they still got that capacity to do it? So I'm excited for you all when I see what you're doing here, and I'm very enthused by the talent I see in the room. And the young man from Palestine, Milena has a contact for you. Now this is a great example of entrepreneurial resources, because as you know I was sitting at the back yesterday and I just put a little message on Facebook saying, sitting in Trento, sitting in an enterprise class, these are some of the ideas that are coming out of it. Yeah? So it went on my Facebook, and within 20 minutes I had a link come back from a friend of mine in America going, do you know about this thing that is happening tomorrow in America as a result of the tragedy that happened yesterday, and somebody who is making a stand for exactly the kind of peace that you want, and Milena has the link, but you never know where the resources, where the opportunities, where the whatever might come up from. So it was just a nice live demonstration. Milena will give you the link for the end of the class. So thank you everybody. I've got to scoot off and go for a meeting down in the centre. I may or may not see you before the end of today. If I don't, good luck and continue to do the great work.
Thank you. That what we want to do now is we want to give you some time to have addressed, focused questions to either of the group. And you say, I have a question, one addressed to this group and one addressed to that group.
Yeah, maybe before just
they need to yes, to exchange their position.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can we start?
Talking about communication skills, that you told that Steve Jobs is a very good presenter, and we want to tell, okay, Steve Jobs is very good talking about his product. Every time he presents only his product, so he's very prepared on this thing. So he wants to sell the product, so he's very focused on this thing. So while Bill Gates is able to talking about a variety of arguments like poverty, energy, different problems in the world. So he's only able to talk about his progress, while Bill Gates is able to talk about everything, and he has improved very much his presentation skills. Second point, and I will finish, is that you were talking about digital innovation, but when we talk about digital innovation, we are not talking about global digitalization. With one single product, you are not able to do a global thing. In fact, Steve Jobs focused on the elite of people, and he was not able to globalize his product, while Microsoft with his products and Bill Gates with his products was able to spread the operating system, and he was able to digitalize the entire globe. Okay, this was the 2 points. Thank you.
Also, we have something to say to you. Like, we would like to focus more on the scenario, since we're not talking about products. We're not going to sell anything. We're going to innovate. We're going to innovate, so we're talking about ideas and innovations, not products. And so it doesn't matter who makes the cheapest product. It's more about to make the most innovative one. And by exchanging the point of view, we thought that also Steve Jobs did lots of charity, but not in the usual way. He improved the world by innovating it. Since with the introduction of the iPad, there were less sheet, less books, so it's good for the environment, less deforestation, and he managed to make the elderly more close to the technology, helping them to interact with others and helping them to solve some of their everyday problems. And so it's not about how many money you give to the poor, is how you improve the world, how you help the world being a less bad place. And yes, and oh yes, and also the first objection from Anna was that Steve Jobs focused on the technology.
Computer technology, I said.
What?
I said computer technology.
Computer technology, sorry. And that's true, but he affects also other fields of the life, like the music field. He
probably a good singer. We don't know.
No, I mean that with the iPod and with iTunes, he fight the.
You are saying that we are not talking about products, but you made examples like iTunes, iPad, iPhone. You did a presentation which was an advertisement of the iPhone, actually.
That was.
We saw 3 videos of the presentation of the iPhone. What's the point?
The point was that
you want to sell the idea?
That was an idea. That was an idea. That was that he breaks the old standards by deleting the keyboards. He is a visionary. He was able to see that we don't need a stylus because we have 10 of them.
Yeah, but we are still talking about products.
No, we're talking about ideas. The idea is that the old standard is no more valid. Is that we need to do the constructive destruction that we were talking about yesterday.
iPhone was
Okay.
acceptable.
Can we make a round of questions?
Can I say something?
No, first we take some questions and then you can answer. And
I just wanted to ask to the Steve Jobs group,
if they were aware that Steve Jobs did not invent smartphone, that smartphones were created in the 90s, that Steve Jobs did not create the iPad and the pad were actually invented way before Apple created them, their own. Were you aware of that?
Okay.
No,
wait.
Yeah, to the Steve Jobs. I think that the point of all of this was to innovate Europe, so innovate a country. But you spoke about innovative products. Do you really think that being able to create innovative products means directly that he can manage the innovation and the technology advancement of an entire country? Because, yeah, that's my point.
Bill Gates should.
Yeah, I think that Bill Gates showed that maybe that he was able because he spread his investments and had a lot of facilities, and yeah, it's more global, something bigger than creating a single breakthrough, a single great product, but a product.
Okay. Other comments, question?
You say something?
Okay.
I would like to ask the other team about what's the definition of innovation.
I already answered that.
Already answered that?
Yeah,
I will start explain my idea with the definition. Please.
Okay. We think that innovation is something that is able to change people's life, and as I said before, innovation is something new. That may be products, maybe technologies, maybe new ways of communicating, and so on and so forth. But the real deal is how many can afford the new innovation. Innovation becomes progress as soon as the vast majority of people can afford them. See, one simple example. The car. Everyone, mostly everyone now owns a car, is able to drive, to travel faster than 100 years ago.
Okay.
When
I got your idea, please.
Yeah.
I got your idea.
Can I finish?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. And so our point is that making a very good product in a very defined field for very few people. It's great for the few people that can afford it, and if we take a look at I don't know, Tesla cars, they are very expensive for very few people, and they have a higher ground on the ones that don't own them. But it's a new thing, but it's not innovation. It's not that everyone owns cars that runs only on electricity, that emits less CO2. And I would like to point out just one phrase on the debate that made Lara before, that Steve Jobs made innovation to help the majority of people to live better, but it's exactly our point, and I don't see how rich people with an iPad are the symbol of better life for everyone when someone doesn't even have a normal phone.
Thank you for the definition.
Yeah.
I would like to continue with my idea. What's your major?
No, wait. Wait.
Just in terms of the battle terms.
Yeah. I would like just to explain the innovation.
But you will explain. Wait a minute, because we had questions at the moment. It was questions from the audience to the groups, and also your questions to each other.
Yeah.
So we didn't answer them yet.
So let them answer the question, or if there are other questions, comments. Okay. I would like to remind you about the scenario, as we said before, and to focus also on what you said in your presentation, and don't forget it, because you are going kind of out of the road now. And okay.
You said something about that Steve Jobs' products are only for few people, but actually 1/3 of mobile phones are an iPhone. So it's not about being rich, it's about the product, that if it's worth that money, it's a valid product. I mean, there are not 3 people all around the world having iPhone or iPad.
That's not our point. The point
Okay, wait a minute. Now keep track of the questions, and then you will answer them, because there have been some questions that were not answered by the other teams.
Yeah.
Okay? This is learning about the method, so that we take really we respect everybody's opinion. All right? So, another question, is there another question?
I think that talking about prices when we talk about Apple, it doesn't make much sense, because their choice of prices is a business model, and it's not like that they can't lower their prices. And usually when Apple or their products have new features, they downstream onto other brands, cheaper brands anyway. So innovation from Apple is not just for rich people, because if you can't buy an Apple product, those new features will eventually come downstream to other brands. So I mean, they will eventually spread from Apple those innovations.
Okay.
My question is to this team. What I would like to understand from the Bill Gates point of view is something like, if we talk about Steve Jobs, I see that he is capable enough to handle the stress or the failure he has undergone, like from being kicked out from his own company once and then establishing a newer one and going back to his own company, displays that he has enough capability to stand up again in his life, again from the scratch. So he had the vision, he had the technology, he had the capability of coming up again as an innovator for the second time. And I would like to understand the Bill Gates point of view in this way.
Okay.
Yeah, I just have a question to the team about Steve Jobs. Well, we were speaking about communication skills. Do you have any examples, or maybe know about any examples, but he was speaking not about only like Apple products, but just how he speaks about something else? Like maybe you know about some shows, or
Bill
I don't
Gates
know.
speaking about something.
No, that's a question. You don't have to answer now. You have to remember it and answer it later.
Okay, but this is another question for you. Okay.
Sorry, this is just a question more like past Steve Jobs thing. Because Nick told us that idea is innovation, but I'm not sure that all those ideas that you present to us coming from Steve Jobs, because I think that the stylus, the finger stylus, come from Jonathan Ive, for example, and not from Steve Jobs. And I don't know, the operation system they're running on iPhones, the keyboard on the screen instead of buttons, come from Craig Federighi, that actually with this kind of innovation became the responsible for all software engineering things.
Okay. So I think we have some.
And you had then a question to that team, right?
I think that you both have some good inputs to continue focus your argument now. And remember the scenario, not the company, but
so I wanted to answer the question of the girl. I don't know her name. What about?
Can you speak up?
Okay. So when we talk about person who will work in parliament, we want a reliable person. Steve Jobs was not a reliable person because he didn't manage to keep his business. Yes, he had different moments, better or more fortunate. But he mainly he wasn't able to maintain his company, and we were talking about communication previously. That was a suggestion from the professor. For talking about communication, we talk about the capability of communication with others. Steve Jobs will not innovate everything by himself. Even he is capable of making new ideas. The innovation is about the ideas of other people. So the candidate must have capability of evaluating others around him. Not only one person doing all by himself, like Steve Jobs was doing actually, because he was a dictator in his company. So our point is communication with others and giving a possibility to brilliant minds to bring their ideas also. Not only the single man doing the revolution or digitalization. The collaboration of many people who either are capable of doing that.
Can I add a little bit to
No.
this?
No, just wait for their answer.
No, I mean for this
Okay.
to answer this question.
Mhm.
If we follow this scenario, well, if we speak that Steve Jobs was able to actually like stand the stress, but he ran away to Bermudas, so I don't think he was such capable of standing the stress. So that's my point. If you follow this scenario.
We would like to answer two questions in one, like yours and yours. That means the question was...
Lara, can you speak up a little bit?
The question was if we know that Steve Jobs didn't invent the smartphone and didn't invent the iPod tablet. From you, not for you. From you. And also, yes. Our point is that even if he has not invented them, he has made them usable for the masses. He has brought them to the people. Since if you have the biggest idea in the world, but it's comprehensible only by yourself, it's not so worthy. But if you take an idea that it's existent and you are able to modify it, to design it, to develop it in a different way, to be more usable, more user-friendly, and more for the people, then you have innovated that idea, even if it's not yours. And once you innovate an idea, you have won, since innovation is the key of progress. And that's it.
So if you have other answer
I wanted to answer to Andrea that said that around a third of people owns an iPhone. And also linking to the last thing that Lara said, he re-innovated. It's not innovation, it's not new features. And if even a third of people own an iPhone. What is gonna really do more for them? In a sense, they can call, they can send SMS, they can connect to internet with cheaper devices, but the thing is that even if such a relatively, since a third is still very very fewer than the 50%, the other people that don't own an iPhone, maybe they don't even own the technology that they will need to live a good life. A person that can't afford a car will not have an iPhone. The person that has to take the bus to go to work wants an iPhone. And there's a huge gap between the people that can afford luxury items and the other one that are very below the threshold of living a life with no thoughts of primary needs. So 30% might be a lot, but the real deal is to cover almost the totality of people. And in this sense, giving them an iPhone that is just a big phone with it's very pleasant, it's very beautiful, good product, but it doesn't allow these people to do different things. They can have a 100 euro smartphone that can send SMS, make call, but these goals are already achieved by these products, and iPhone seems a bit useless in this sense.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, just for the sake of time, can we have one more round? So you answer once, and then we need to wrap up, because otherwise we don't fit with the time.
Before that, I would also make reflect you and think about the 3 questions that you answered yesterday. Remember the?
Yes, I will say them again.
Okay.
Yeah.
And try to figure out how the 3 questions could be applied to the Steve Jobs and Bill Gates.
Okay.
That
so
can help you to focus also on the battle.
Yeah. Do you remember the 3 questions of yesterday?
What problem would you solve?
What kind of a problem did they solve? What kind of a need or thing they save? Okay. And what kind of a thing or experience they created? And try to put it in your answers in preparing this, because this is related. We were talking about entrepreneurs. And in a way, maybe I would give you another tip. Why would we want these people as examples of entrepreneurs, innovators? Why would we want them to be the ones, advisors, for this process with Europe? Does this something tell us about, who they are, why we want them, in what way, they came to be chosen for that role? Does it tell us something about the vision for Europe and how we want to move that vision? Okay, try to answer these questions, because it's not by chance that they were chosen to be advisors. I wouldn't put it so politically. Also.
Could be also.
Could be, yeah. They come in different dimensions, they come in different styles, and also innovation. Let's see, this is the first attempt at digging into that field. because maybe toward the end of the class you are going to be more able to say what really innovation is. I know, I actually appreciate that you have a very clear position, which is good, which means that you are interested in the topic, and but it will take some time to understand what is actually innovation. And keep researching it. And so this would be the way to get. Why do you think we chose these people to connect to be advisors to European President for innovation and research and development in general? Yes? They have experience. Okay. In what?
Well, they have people have had great companies behind them, and so they make with some difficult decisions. Jobs were fired off once, and then they started again. And while Bill Gates just tried to compete with challenges in other areas. So both are great leaders. But that both groups need to show us one thing, that the parents of these people are asked to give advice to a parliament. So I don't expect these people in their late 60s to make a new companies or to solve big ideas, big problems. But I expect to give advice. So what I want them for their experiences, because I am sure that both of them could find valid companies that have already solved problems and try to fund them. So not to create new things, but to use something that is already that has already been created.
Okay. So you're saying that we chose them because also that experience is so relevant. We want to maybe really trigger people to move in that direction of such experience. And because they have that experience, they can create opportunities.
Yeah, and also I would try to compare these people by the effort that they put on the research and development departments.
Okay, and that is a good point, because what actually would drive innovation? We will look at different modes of innovation and investment in R&D, and how this R&D is done through the companies is one step in that direction, and we need to explore it and invest.
So,
I think we're wrapping up.
We leave the floor for the last reply and the last statement to the two groups. So you start, because the opening statement was made first by Steve Jobs, so you could start the closing one. 5 minutes.
So we want to answer the first question, which is what problem would you solve? The problem is global digitalization, and we have the solution. So Bill Gates had the solution, which is bring a PC in every home, in every house. And what is the experience that he could say is that everyone is able to use a PC, and this thing is linked with the last one, that by bringing an affordable product in every home, everyone can be creative and is able to use that product in order to express themselves. So it's very important, because if you don't have the right tools to express it yourself, you don't have this fundamental right, which is the being creative. And for the personality of Bill Gates, we agree that he had very good skills of communication, and it also had the right attitude. He was able to focus on people rather than on himself, and to listen to everybody's ideas, and bring those ideas in new products. He was also a great leader and a very successful entrepreneur, as we saw. And he was also open-minded. So he's not focused only on his own ideas. He wants new ideas. And there is a quote that he told that he will rather prefer lazy people because they are more creative, because they will bring the solution faster than those who are focused on a specific problem. Thank you.
Steve Jobs.
First of all, the problem we would like to solve with the advisor is the digitalization. That means the development and the maintenance of a technological infrastructure. For this, we need an innovative person, not a person who creates things from nothing. We need someone able to save what is already here. We need a person that will not say, well, we have lots of technology, let's drop in and start again from the beginning, since it can be a waste of money, time, and technology. So we need someone able to improve what is here now. And since both of Bill Gates and Steve Jobs are intelligent and have a technological background, they seem like both valuable, but Steve Jobs have something more. Steve Jobs experienced failure, so he is more aware of risks, and he is more aware of the importance of a B plan. So this means lots. This means that he can make better decisions in the short time and in the long time. Also because he usually was able to predict the future, since in the 1999, he said that the floppy disk were going to die, and then the USB would be the next good standard. So, and he has more knowledge about the technological environment, since he experiment both with software and hardware, and not only software. And we think that Bill Gates is a sort of mimic of Steve Jobs, capable of taking the good things that Steve Jobs thought or improved, and is not an innovator. And we think that Bill Gates is not an innovator, but that is solely good at taking the other products and make it cheaper. And another thing,
you're doing great.
Yes, I'm scared. And Steve Jobs listened to other people's opinions, but was not bribed by them. Since here I'd like to say something that Ford said. he said that if he had asked his client what would they have wanted, they have asked for a faster horse. So asking people doesn't mean innovation. And that's why we thought that Steve Jobs is a better advisor. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before everybody rushes off, the teams for the second battle, you can stay, well, we can meet up and we go to Olfik in just a minute to prepare the second battle. And I think
the winner of this battle will be announced next week.
Next week.
So,
Okay.
and we will decide.
Yeah, it's everybody else.